Question I have is how easy or difficult has it been to continue following the recommendations that we gave you
Mhm.
a year ago?
So, so when you first gave me the protocol a year ago, it was very easy at the beginning. I got all the supplements, I got all the dietary things, I did everything and wrote it down every day, make sure ticked everything off. I was very, very precise because I wanted to make sure that I did everything right. And then a few months later, maybe I didn't have enough, as because I don't work, and that is something that I'm not ready yet to do. So because I don't work, my finances are very, very low. So sometimes I wouldn't be able to maybe buy a supplement. They're nothing for people, but for me. So maybe, there'd be a month where I would be without one of the supplements, or maybe I'd be out and about and I couldn't get the exact food or actually.
I have it's an important thing. I just want to interject there, where you said it's nothing for some people. It's actually not true. It's not. It's
Okay.
not. It's not nothing. And I think is an important thing to add there. The people that have done well have had to invest and to kind of go outside their comfort zone. Some people, like, let's say they genuinely can't, if they don't have the funds for it, that's another story. But there's
Yeah.
very, very few people that we've worked for whom it's just like it's nothing. Oh, it's just some. I think
Oh, I see.
it's important to recognize that everyone has had to invest financially to do this, and the supplements aren't necessarily cheap for anybody. But it also comes down to what people perceive to be cheap
Yeah.
or not. Like, what are you? This is like the thing. Like, what are you actually prepared to invest in?
Yeah.
Going to get stuff from Holland and Barrett is a lot cheaper, but it's completely useless in most cases. It might even be detrimental in some cases, depending on what it is. So I just wanted to put that in there. Like, it's
Yeah.
important to, like, yeah, like some of these things, if they work, you have to they're not necessarily cheap for anybody.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
a yeah,
I think that they are. I do think they're affordable for somebody who's working. I think they are. Well, it depends what their expenses are, but as a
exactly.
cost,
That's the thing, that because people that work, they
yeah,
tend to have more expenses, so things become
yeah. Okay.
relative. But yeah, it's just to say that there's very few people who for whom it's just not. It's just like, oh, it's just this. It's just
Okay.
nothing.
That's
Very
good
very
to
few people.
So I mean, what I do is at the big when I do get money in, the first thing I do if I'm running out of supplements is first get the supplements. Once that's done, it's like a budget thing. What Because that's my priority. My health is number one, and then I'll work out the rest. But then yeah, there were times. So I'm just saying that it wasn't that I would be taking them every single day all year. There were times. There was once that I did it for 2 months, and food as well, because we did allergy testing and there's some things I shouldn't be eating, and sometimes I'm out and there's no choice. So and I see a big difference when I eat something that I've eaten all my life, but in the test says that I'm allergic, and then now I notice, oh yeah, well no wonder I got this and that and the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Fatigue, brain fog, all sorts of things. But in general, it's been really simple. It was very clear. The food was no effort at all. I mean, I just go and, it's all in me now, like all in my head. Like I know automatically what's the best to eat, and it's really easy. Supplements, again, yes, you just order them and make sure I've got these pill boxes and I make sure I have them because I have morning and lunchtime. Then the meditation, that is something that because I got results, it's been amazing. I've been getting results like straight away with everything. So with meditation, I had amazing results, which I knew a couple of years ago. I tried it and it did help me, but I didn't continue. But with your help, I have. And so I am very regular with the meditation, with my mindset. And so everything has been easy, apart from, no, 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 apart from you've given me a protocol to help with my brain fog, and I haven't really followed that.
Hmm.
I followed the dietary part, but not the supplement part. and that's my own. I have what is it, like a phobia or something? I think you noticed that. I'm like, what is in this? What do I try? I'm a bit funny with
Okay.
medication and
Okay.
supplements.
Okay.
Um, I keep saying to myself, I'm going to take it, and then I wait for something, and I don't. Yeah, I said I was going to start taking them yesterday, and I haven't. But my brain fog is still a lot better because the dietary and the other supplements are
Mm.
helping too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not doing it fully.
Okay, well, that's good. There's still potential for more healing, even more healing.
Oh, there's so much more potential. It's so funny because I'm so fantastic, but I know that I'd love to work with you more because I know there's so much more I can really.
Well, you could start with those things for a start.
I can't believe I've admitted it to you now and in front of everyone, but yeah.
No, it's good. It's good to know that because I didn't know that. So no, but
I
it's
thought,
because it's good. It just shows that okay, that's an avenue that hasn't been like tested yet. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting
yeah,
to see if that helps.
yes,
I assume it will,
I'm
but
sure
I
it will,
don't know.
but yeah.
Okay, well, so overall, so what you've been doing, I guess, to help contextualize it for people listening. So we gave you dietary changes, very specific to you. We we had got that from doing a deep dive into your history, looking at your past medical tests, really understanding your timeline, how things developed along the way. We did a pretty big deep dive into that. Really understood
Yeah,
your diet as well. Supplements you had already tried. So we really had a very, very thorough understanding of your situation, your history. And from that came a bunch of recommendations that were all just kind of filling gaps and addressing certain things that we'd find physiologically, but also diet, nutritionally. That's where the dietary recommendations came from. That's where the supplement recommendations came from. Some things in general that I guess we would kind of recommend to everyone, and some things are more specific to you. And then there's lifestyle factors as well. So in your case, it was really focusing on the meditation. That's not something that we necessarily focus on with everyone. Everyone has a different,
yeah,
we're emphasizing different things with different people. So that's where the personalization comes in. So what we gave you would probably help most people, but it's more, there could be it could be really missing important things in other people's stories that we would be emphasizing more or less. Or there might be things that we recommended to you that we would actually tell other people not to have. So
I I remember that consultation when you came back to me telling me, right, this is the protocol, that meeting appointment, and I just was in absolute awe of how you had pinpointed you just by you just knew exactly what my body needed. I'm talking about the diet and the supplements, and you really, and you were thinking, and it was all so based on you looked at my entire medical history and like talked about everything, and like you say, other medications and supplements and all that diet that I wrote the dietary form for you and everything. But when you came back, and it was only a week later, and
mm,
you came back, and I just felt like it was so personalized. It was just specifically on my body and how my biochemistry and my mitochondria and how my
yeah.
everything works. You just knew that, okay, this is going to go to A and X and Y. And it was wonderful. I was just so in
Yeah.
awe.
And that's so I guess probably I assume a lot of people watching this are attempting to try and figure this out on their own in terms of diet, supplementation, like all the natural healing side of things. Like 99% of people watching this probably aren't getting guidance from anyone, or they might get it from, I don't know, their kinesiologist or their
Mhm.
chiropractor or something. Very often they'll be giving advice on this. They're not really trained for that. I guess they might be following people on social media, so like either doctors or health practitioners. They might be reading books, they might be listening to podcasts and trying to like just get bits and
Take
pieces of
bits of it.
information and try and it's impossible to make a cohesive strategy out of that essentially. So
That was me before I
well, I was going
found
to ask
you.
like knowing now what you know about like what it's like to get very specific and professional guidance.
Yeah.
What would be
What
your message to people who are still in that mode?
my message is that it is impossible to be able to heal yourself by doing it that way. And in fact, you could be doing more damage than good. And you could be really stressing yourself unnecessarily. Whereas you could go to somebody, luckily, found you, that you could go to you and you can take away all that, and you have the medical also things that people will never find
They'll
online.
never
They'll
find.
never,
Yeah, it's
apart
not.
from the fact that it has to be individualized, but also there are things that even if you're looking for them, and there's so many contradictions and things. Anyway, it's just forget all that because that's a waste of time. And it's just going to add to things and you're not going to get anywhere. You might be okay for a month with one thing.
Yeah, I
And
think what you
after
said
that,
something there, and it's really important, is the stress aspect. So, like trying to figure out on yourself is just a massive stress, and one of the main triggers for almost everybody with Sjogren's is stress.
yeah.
So, trying to figure it out on your own is so unadvisable. And I would say that even if someone was themselves, a health practitioner, and they, may well
Yeah.
have the understanding to figure it out on their own. I would say even for someone like that to not even attempt to, physician heal thyself is like, there's a time when you need to get guidance from someone. And I think a situation like Sjogren's is like that, is that situation. But the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because the vast majority of people, they hesitate to actually get the guidance they need to, maybe because of investment. Most people can afford it, not everyone. Most people that we speak to can afford it, but they don't. They hesitate because for many reasons. Very often they're not putting themselves first. That's probably the most common reason, is that they are not putting themselves first. They are, another way of thinking about that is that they're putting other people's needs above their own. So let's say it could be to do with, it's not necessarily financially in this case. It's more of like an emotional prioritization. Then they don't feel like they deserve to focus on themselves for a few months. Like our programs are 4 months. It's not a short period of time and it's not a long period of time. But the number one thing I think is the problem. And the other side of that is that people are in this illusion that's been it's come from the internet, basically. This illusion that the information is out there, that they just need to
Yes.
read a little bit more, and then they'll have the information. This is not about information. Healing is not about having the right information. That's an illusion. You can read every book in the world. It's about like applying specific strategies that are relevant to you, and you can't read that or hear that in
No.
a podcast. It's something that is there's a big gulf between those things. So it's really
And also, apart from, and the reason why they go on the internet, I feel, is because they're not getting anything from their rheumatologist.
of course,
My rheumatologist at one point said, "Oh, this is so good. You're such a good advocate for yourself." Well, why am I a good advocate for myself? Because you're
yeah,
not helping me. So
exactly.
they kind of leave you, and I think that's why people need to know about, well, you, as far as I'm concerned, but
Well, for Shoguns, we are like, it's not about blowing our own horns or anything, but in
no, I
terms of
know.
Shoguns specifically, we are the only practice that focuses on Shoguns. And so,
Yeah.
if someone has another condition, they should go to someone who's a specialist
Yeah.
in that condition, not someone who has worked with it or maybe has a list of 10. They work with autoimmune conditions. That's not being a specialist. That's being a generalist. Working with
Yeah.
autoimmunity is being a generalist. So I would go to someone who's really has a real a real focus in that, in whatever issue that they have. So we
Yeah.
specialize in Sjogren's, and if someone came to us with lupus, I would say, how similar lupus and Sjogren's are. They're like really close siblings. But for me, even that's a step too far. I'm like, no, I don't feel like I'm a specialist in lupus, even though I probably know about it enough to be able to help them. Not probably, definitely, but I know there's enough intricacies that I just don't have the focus on that to be fully confident. Um, as opposed to Sjogren's where, yeah, we've been doing this for 3.5 years, just Sjogren's. Before that, general nutritional therapy. Now just Sjogren's, and that's been, it's really been what's enabled all of the amazing results that we get. I don't know.
People, I'm going to put a link below for people to see basically your video testimonials of
Yeah,
others. It's not just me. There's
no,
like
there's a
so
lot.
many
We've only
wonderful.
we've only filmed a small handful, but
Yeah,
they are representative of
yeah, they're
the general
wonderful. I'm
variety.
so happy when I see them. It's just wonderful. I'm so happy for everyone.
Yeah, and everyone should watch them, like, just in order to see what's possible.
Yeah,
It's not for any other reason. If that itself is enough, to see that people from all different situations, some of them are diagnosed, some of them are not diagnosed. Um, some of them have, these symptoms, those symptoms. Everyone has different kind of main
yeah,
symptoms, different histories, different,
yeah,
but the common theme is that when the diet is gotten right, when the supplementation is gotten right, they're like 50-50 in my eyes. Like
yeah,
they really, the supplementation supplements the diet. But
yeah,
in the case, in something like Sjogren's, you can't, I, as much as I'd like to think that if you got the diet right, that'd be enough, because that
mhm,
feels a very natural thing. But we don't live in a natural world anymore. We live in a
yeah,
very toxic world. So in order to really, we need to get the body working in a completely different way, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
So that's why the supplementation, when done in a targeted way. So not just generally, like, what's good for dry eyes is the kind of thing that people, what's good for dry eyes. So they'll try this, they'll try that. But we're thinking about it in a much broader sense. Like, what does your body need? Not what
yeah,
is good for dry eyes and what their symptoms. We're thinking about what does the body need to regulate itself better? And
yeah.
the dry eyes and the dry mouth and the autoimmunity, these are all effects of this
That's from the body
underlying
not working right.
problem.
Yeah,
And so there's certain nutrients that will be beneficial for you to have in a higher amount than you can get dietarily. There's other nutrients that you don't really get dietarily, or you get them in small amounts, but in supplemental forms, they are, evidence-based to help with certain body processes. So we're thinking about body processes, not just about dry eyes and dry. We're not thinking about the symptoms. We're thinking about what are the cause of the symptoms. What's the cause of the immune dysfunction? So anyway, that'd be my kind of message to everyone watching this is like, yeah, I mean, if you have show and speak to us, we're happy just to have a chat with you. You don't have to pay us anything, just have a chat. Like you had, when we first
yeah,
put, we
yeah.
have a free consultation. So everyone's welcome if they feel like they would like some guidance to have a chat. We can't just give general advice during these consultations, because, as we explained, to get the recommendations, there's a process behind that. But the free
And testing
consultation
as
is and
well.
testing. But the free consultation is an opportunity for us to meet, to explain your situation, to see if our approach doesn't make sense for you now, because it doesn't always make sense in every situation. For you to really understand what the process is, and to be able to decide if it's something that you want to do or not, and also for us to decide if it's something that we feel like we can help with. It's a two-way thing there. So,
Absolutely.
okay.
Because I have also viewers who have said yeah, that they're going through like they're seeing somebody who may be a functional medicine practitioner and things to that nature, and they're not getting any results because like, and I'm not one to say or go on about it, but that's because they're not Sjogren's
Could be,
experts.
yeah, most
But
likely. And the other thing is that we're very thorough. So, um, most functional medicine, I see the plans of people that come from other practitioners in general, and 9 out of 10, they're just copy paste jobs. People are like not putting in the time that we do. I've always been like that ever since was training. I didn't, I had a problem when I was training. I would take too long to put recommendations together, and I in our training clinic, I failed many of them because I did it. I took too long. So others like very quickly put a plan together, and I decided then, I'm like, this is not how I'm practicing. And
wonderful.
even one of my tutors was like, you need to speed up. Like you got to do it quicker. And they were saying it from the perspective like, if you don't do it quicker, you're not going to be able to run a practice that is sustainable. And they're right in many ways. And I struggle with that, to be honest. I still struggle with that. But I decided that I am I don't want to practice like that, but I do see it in many cases when people have been working with other nutritional therapists or other functional medicine practitioners. And I see their plans. I'm like, this is, and it's not personalized, and they don't understand Sjogren's. You can just see it on so many levels. And in the States, if people are watching in America, it's a whole different story there with functional medicine practitioners.
This was a
Most of them are
little.
like chiropractors that have done some kind of very minimal additional training. And
So I think we're going to need to wrap this up, but
yeah,
I just wanted to, for the whole world to see, to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done for me, because you've given me my life back.
you
And
gave it back to yourself. I signed for
well,
it, but you did the work. It's important. Like, we don't heal anyone. We give guidance, but it's the person, you're in the driving seat.
yeah, but I was really blinded. Like I didn't know what to do and how and where. And you gave me all that. You gave me all the information,
Yeah.
told me
Cool.
what to do with it.
Well, good.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really great to see that yeah, that those early results they sustained, because yeah, we also never know what how things will pan out in an individual.
Yeah.
No matter how many times we work with, everyone's different. Every new client is, it's a whole new universe you're going into, and so you never know. So yeah,
Because
seeing
they were very quick
that
results as well.
it was quick, yeah, it was quick and sustained, and so that's really, yeah, it's good to see that a year later it's still, as by the sounds of it, getting better in some ways.
Better, better. It's only the last couple of weeks where I've noticed more and more energy. Amazing. So thank
Well,
you.
great. Yes, it's been great reconnecting and hearing how you've been doing. And yeah, maybe we'll do a another update in future,
Yeah,
some other chat that might help.
yeah, I'd love that. If please, if you can, I would love that.
Okay, cool.
And if anybody wants any information, just leave in the comments and we'll get back to you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, then. Thanks so much.
See you later.
Bye.